Hi, in this video, let's quickly see what is an LLP, Limited Liability Partnership Firm. So, this concept was introduced in India in the year 2008. Even though only in 2008 it came to India, it was already been adopted in a lot of other countries like Singapore, Australia, UK, etc. People used to do business only in the form of a partnership firm, which is an enactment which was enacted in the year 1932. LLP is governed by a separate legislation which is LLP Act 2008. So it is very clear, it is very important for you to understand there's a very clear difference between a partnership firm and an LLP. A partnership firm is a type of an entity which is governed under the Partnership Act 1932, whereas an LLP is a type of an entity that is governed under LLP Act 2008. Few special features about an LLP is, to start an LLP, minimum 2 members are required, who are the partners, who will be the partners of the LLP, and the maximum number of partners that an LLP can have is unlimited. Whereas when it comes to a normal partnership firm, the maximum number of partners that a partnership firm can have is only 20. What is this limited liability? So whenever I do my business, if I'm a sole proprietary or a partnership firm, my liability is unlimited. If I'm going to take a loan from any financial institution and if I'm not able to repay the loan to them, even my personal assets can be taken over by the creditors. But when my liability is very limited, my liability is limited to the extent of my contribution. For example, in an LLP, if I've agreed to contribute 1 lakh as capital, my liability towards that LLP will be only 1 lakh. Tomorrow, if that LLP is going to make some loss, my personal assets cannot be taken away by the creditors. Similarly, the liability of the LLP will be to the extent of its asset. Even though companies still have the same limited liability concept, when compared to a company, LLPs have more flexibility. Companies are governed under the Companies Act, and the MOE and the AOA normally govern them. Whereas there are a lot of sections and provisions which govern a company, which makes it more strict and too much of compliance is there to run a company. But when it comes to an LLP, when it comes to the compliance related aspect, it is a little easy to run an LLP. So there's a lot of flexibility, and your LLP agreement. So there's no MOA, AOA and all here. It is the LLP agreement where the partners can say, this is your terms and conditions. These are my rules and responsibilities. This is the profit sharing ratio. So all these things can be decided in advance, where it has a lot of flexibility. And yes, when I'm going to talk about the profit sharing, the taxation also we have to see here. When it comes to a partnership firm or an LLP or a company, in all these three cases, it is taxable at flat 30%. But the advantage between a LLP and a company is, when you take out profits from a company, it is called as dividend. So dividend is normally payable on the net profit, which is after you pay the tax, the remaining amount, after you pay 30% tax, the remaining amount, whatever is there, that net profit, you can take it as dividend. And again on that dividend distribution tax is levied. So you will have to pay tax on your profits, and then whatever dividends you're going to take out, even on that you have to pay DDT, which is dividend distribution tax. But when it comes to a LLP or a partnership firm, it is taxable at flat 30%. However, the profits that are taken away from the LLP are taxable only in the hands of the partners and not in the LLP. So you need not pay 30% on the entire profits. You can, whatever portion is taken away as profit sharing by the partners is taxable in the hands of the partners on their individual slab rate, which is 10%, 20%, 30%. Likewise. So it is more tax friendly compared to a company. So there are a lot of tax benefits when it comes to an LLP. And LLPs are treated as a body corporate. When you call it, what do you call as a body corporate is any entity which has a separate legal entity existence, which means that If it is a separate legal entity, it has a nationality. It is a Indian LLP. It has a residence. It stays, the registered office address is situated in so and so area. The LLP can enter into contracts where it can enter the LLP in its own name. It can enter into a contract with some other party. It can enter into a contract with its own members. So can sue someone or someone can sue on the LLP. It has a separate legal entity, which means that it is a artificial person. It is mandatory to register an LLP, whereas in a partnership firm it is optional to register a partnership firm. However, you have to get your LLP registered under the LLPs Act, under the as per the provisions explained in the 2008 Act. So the LLP is formed by way of the following the procedures that are said in the Act. So it can be closed only by following certain procedures that are laid down in the Act, which means that it is formed by Act, it can be closed by an Act. So there is no death until it is legally wound up. In case of a partnership, in case a partner dies, the LLP comes to an end. In case of an LLP, even though the partners die, members may come, members may go, but the LLP will still survive. In case of a company, audit becomes compulsory from day one. You do business, you don't do business, you have only nil returns to be filed. Still, it has to be audited. Even that nil report has to be audited by a chartered accountant. But as where it comes to an LLP, audit by a chartered accountant becomes mandatory only if your contribution, your capital exceeds more than 25 lakhs or your total turnover exceeds more than 40 lakhs. So there is a comfort level where it says only after reaching a particular threshold, which is 25% of capital or 25 lakhs of capital or 40 lakhs of turnover, you need not get yourself compulsorily audited. You can, in an LLP, you can either maintain your books of accounts in cash basis or accrual basis, whereas in a company you have to maintain only in accrual basis. And some more aspects that will make an LLP to stand preferred more than a company is the registration process is much easy when compared to a company to an LLP. If you want to amend your agreement, it is more easy than amending an MOA or an AOA. The compliances that are there are less compared to a company for an LLP. When we see the main compliances that has to be done, there are only two main forms that has to be filed by the LLP every year. One is Form 11 and the other is Form 8. Form 11 has to be filed within 60 days from the end of your financial year. Your financial year will end on 31st of March every year. So it has to be filed within 60 days. By May 30th, you will have to file your Form 11. And when it comes to Form 8, it has to be filed by 30th of October every year. And if your capital, if your contribution is more than 50 lakhs, your Form 11 has to be certified by a practicing company secretary. And there is another concept here, the other type of people here. Apart from the normal partners in an LLP, there is a person who is called as a designated partner, who will normally be the partners only. But the role of a designated partner is to take care of the management of the affairs. So it is very important to an LLP have a resident designated partner. So LLP should have minimum 2 designated partners, one of whom should mandatorily be a resident. And looking all these things, if I'm already running a partnership firm or a private limited company or an unlisted public company, and now I want to convert myself into an LLP, there is possibilities. I can get myself converted into an LLP. The Act allows for it. And the most important thing is this type of sector is more preferable to small and medium type of enterprises, mostly for service industries. And LLPs cannot involve in manufacturing activities. And when it comes to FDI, you can get foreign contribution. However, it is allowed only in those sectors where it is allowed 100% under automatic route. So this is all a brief about what an LLP is. If you have any other further doubts with regard to what an LLP is, you can post your doubts in the comment section below and I will reply to them. Thank you.